What's up, my friends? Dr. David Boyd here, and welcome to the Modern Medicine Matters podcast. Today's topic is this: what is regicide? Sit back and relax, because here we go. So I was watching the new Game of Thrones the other night on HBO. I forget what it's called. It's like Game of Thrones 2, only with different people. The prequel, if you will. I'm having a hard time getting into it, man. Like it jumps around a bit. Um, the dragons are cool, but I'm having a little bit of a time with the whole thing. Anyway, so I don't watch much TV, and so I'm very, very snobby when it does come to the TV that I do watch. Like I want it to be really good. If I'm going to sit down and veg out for 45 minutes or something, then it has to be decent. Anyway, so but they did. There's one thing that really stood out. They brought up this concept of regicide, which regal, side, kill the king is what it is. So I was like, oh, that's a cool word there. Like I have not heard that one before. So with this regicide, I was like, okay, let me explore this a little bit further. Right? Because kings have what? Power. And with power, there's other people that want it, that want that control. So just kind of thinking back throughout history, I was like, man, which kings? Like which kings can I think of that were killed? So first and foremost came Julius Caesar, came to mind, right? Et tu, Brute, and right, how he got taken out. And then I was sitting there, I was thinking, man, I actually don't really know my history that well, because I'm sure there are other ones that are in there. Like she was a queen, I think of Marie Antoinette, but that was like the only other one I can think of. And then the next king that came to mind, no kidding, was Elvis. And I was like, well, kind of. I mean, he got taken out from pain pills and too many like fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. So yeah, I guess it's kind of a regicide there too, right? And it really got me thinking, like when we talk about being kings in our own life, when we talk about truly ruling our life and living the life of a king. And let me explain this for some folks that are just kind of new to this concept. Because I've been involved with Wake Up Warrior since, gosh, I don't know, 2017. It's been a long time now. We're with Wake Up Warrior. If you haven't checked it out, you can go check it out. Absolutely amazing men's movement, and put me on a completely different path in my life, certainly. And I'm sure can do this exact same for you. They have, with all their programs and everything that they have. But the whole point is really this: is to be a king in your own life. Is really to tell the truth, to have complete ownership of your life, and actually rule over your life like a king would. So that's the concept for you. WakeUpWarrior.com. You can go check it out. It's also warriorweek.com to go do the Warrior Weeks, the experiential training that kind of cracks the frame so that you can go and pivot and kind of catalyze your life from there. So anyway, so this whole concept of a king and really thinking and acting like a king is one that the majority of us, myself included, for a really long time, really couldn't wrap your head around. Why? Because we're trained to be pawns. Think about this for a minute. From the time that we're kids, like little kids, preschool, kindergarten, like we're trained. You sit down, you stand up, you do what you're told. Here's the lines. You stay in the lines. Even with coloring, stay in the lines. I want to color over here. Nope, sky can't be red. It's got to be blue. Stay in the lines. Like we're taught this from a very young age. We're taught to follow rules. And then somehow or another, around like college age, maybe a little bit more, that's when we start to kind of get like our brain stops being so mushy, and we start actually getting to the place where we're really finding ourselves, identity, personality, so forth, where you're like, okay, wait a minute, I get to make my own choices. What? I can do whatever I want as long as it's legal, sometimes even not a little bit legal, right? Like you get to do all of these things now. And that's really kind of where the concept starts and begins. And the majority of folks, we end up getting married. We end up doing a job. You end up doing a 9 to 5, or in my case, 9 to whenever it stopped, when I was working in hospitals and all that. And you kind of get stuck again, back in these lines again, where it's someone else's game and you're a pawn again. So things start to change. I've noticed the trend is really when guys are in their 40s. And I'm sure this happens for women too, and ladies. You can chime in on this. Would love to hear your thoughts. I can speak to it from a man's side of thing, and now a divorced man. Fucked up my first marriage big time, but I'm a dad. I got two amazing little girls. I'm a doctor. I'm an entrepreneur. Started this awesome business, which I had no idea when it came to entrepreneurial things, but I came to find out that most entrepreneurs don't, and that's part of the learning curve. But all of those things came really once I hit my 40s, when I got to this place where I was like, wait a minute, I'm not a pawn, and I can actually create things in my life. And I hope this resonates with you on some level, because at that time, I was trying to consume as much information as I could when my eyes were just starting to open. I was reading books and I was listening to like influencers. And I was seeing like these amazing speakers from the stage. And I was like, wow, how does that guy speak like that in front of all those people? It's freaking amazing, right? And I was like, you see like Garrett White, and he'd be like delivering like connecting with a room of thousands of people. I remember this at ClickFunnels in like 2017 or 2018. He's connecting with all these thousands of people. And I'm in the crowd. And I'm looking at the people on the left and my right, and they're fixated. Their eyes are wide. Some of them are like, they're getting glassy eyes, starting to tear up and evoking this emotion. I was like, holy shit, that's a fucking king right there. Not just in his life, but speaking to others. Consume content. You look at like Brad Lee. So like Brad, I haven't met Brad yet. DM'd a little bit. But look at Brad. Social media fucking dominating it, man. And there's a ton of folks on social media. Like, Gary V, all that. Like, I like those guys. They're great. There's something about Brad Lee. It just freaking, it resonates with me. Like when you watch this guy, it's like, fuck, he's talking to me right now. Coach Sam Falsafi, one of the most, probably the best experiential coach that exists, was forged and it has this ability to carve right into the like hearts of men in a way that I've seen nobody else do. Absolutely amazing. Fucking king in his life, and showing that kingship to other men as well, of what they can aspire to be. Not in his path, in their path. So this concept of being a king in life is something that's an absolutely beautiful one. And your kingdom is yours. So you can build it to whatever you want it to be, or not. So if you've become a king, or you're on your path to becoming a king, then you have to ask that next question about regicide. What kills the king? Here's the crazy thing, man. It's not so much like Julius Caesar nowadays, where you get a bunch of knives in the back. It's even worse. It's like we do it to ourselves. Like we kill ourselves instead. Here's the path that I see so often, right? Especially with entrepreneurs. Because entrepreneurs, they don't like to follow rules. They like to do things a little bit differently. Somehow or another, they think they know the answers. If they don't know the answers, then they just say, fuck you, I'll figure it out. Right? They kind of like jump off the cliff and start assembling the parachute, start stitching together the parachute on the way down. It's kind of what entrepreneurs do. I see it all the time. This is the majority of the patients that I have. Almost like 99.9% of them are entrepreneurs. Love the population. It resonates with me. It's so much fun to take care of entrepreneurs, because I'm one myself, and so I get it. And I do stupid shit too. Right? So, and then you try to put the cat back in the bag. But that's exactly it. So entrepreneurs, they will push and grind and hustle. And they've been doing this since probably when they started their business in their like late 20s, right? Or early 30s. And now they're in their mid 40s. And they're like, push, keep going. And the crazy thing is, like all the caffeine that they would consume, like the caffeine and the coffee and the Red Bulls and the 5-hour energies and all that shit worked in your 20s and 30s. And by the time you hit your 40s, you're like, this isn't really working anymore. Like, what do I do now? So instead, they're looking for something else, right? So they're like trying to find anything. Like, I'll go inject this ozone. Let me get some NAD shots. Give me the NMN, the NAD vitamin infusion, please, once a week. anything to kind of get the gusto back. They'll start running 100-mile races, doing ultras. They'll be doing Ironman. They'll be doing all kinds of things, trying to harness and focus and just fricking go, or have the sensation of going. Have the sensation you're actually getting somewhere when you're really not. Keep pushing. So just keep pushing. Never realizing they're killing the king. Never realizing that this need for the hunt, that this push to hunt down the next thing is carrying them in all kinds of directions and taking their focus off the one thing that really, really matters: their health. Because the reality is, without the health, without like a solid foundation of health, all the shit you build, it doesn't matter. It's like a house of cards. You take the health out from underneath, gone. Entrepreneurs will keep going. They'll keep pushing. They push all day long, and then they need to get some rest at night. That's when they turn to the alcohol. Like, oh man, I just need something to help me sleep. After the alcohol doesn't work because you're getting too many hangovers, like, you know what? Let me get some of this Ambien. Let me get some of this Ativan. Maybe I put the Ativan, the Xanax, and the alcohol. Maybe that'll do something. I've seen it, man. They do all kinds of stuff. That's when I get phone calls and I'm like, what? What did you do? No, don't. Right? I get all kinds. I see it all the time. Oh man, it's crazy. I hope this resonated with you on some level, right? You've been there. See, that's the idea, is that entrepreneurs commit regicide all the time. They slowly kill the king, death by a million cuts, instead of actually saying, stop. What do I need to do in order to fortify the kingdom? And here's the craziest part. An entrepreneur will go hire a consultant to come into the business and like spend money on this consultant to show them where they could save a couple percent, like 1 or 2 or 3%. But to actually go and invest in their health and do something like an executive physical to actually find major problems when they're small and take care of them, it won't even register to them. Isn't that crazy? They'll go pay a consultant to like, oh, I'm gonna pay you $10,000 for you to show me where I can save $15,000. Oh, good. Okay, I made $5K. I did great. But they won't invest in their health to get an extra 5, 10, 20 years on the planet, and to do it in such a way where they live better, like are fitter, have better sex, and live longer. It's amazing. People want to spend pennies on prevention, but then turn around and would give their life savings for the cure. I've seen it happen more times than I can count. Ask yourself that question. Where right now in your life, as a king, living as a king, are you committing regicide? Where are you killing the king? Sit down with a blank piece of paper. I challenge you to that. See what comes up for you. There's a gift in there somewhere. And maybe, just maybe, you'll get some insight into your blind spots and come to blindspotmedical.com, because that's exactly what it is that we do. That's what I got for you today, my friends. I hope this message receives you well. I would ask that if it registers with you, to please share it with friends, family. There's someone in your circle of influence that needs to hear it. And check out blindspotmedical.com for more. That's what I got for you. Remember, health is wealth. Invest in yourself. I'm Dr. Boyd, and I'll see you next time.